These fertile mountains of the Peruvian Andes in the Huánuco region still hide indecipherable mysteries for archaeology. In these places, a stone cube with engravings similar to Sumerian writing was found. One ceramic sculpture with puzzling magnetic properties and physical details that replicate the Nazca mummies. Could the oldest human civilization that flourished in the Middle East also have had a presence in the Andes of Peru?
What are these Middle Eastern writings doing here?
We still need to investigate that part of science.
The recurring appearance of three-fingered beings in various cultures around the world. Are they pure imagination? A globally shared artistic simplification? Or the testimony of the physical presence of a species that shared this planet with our ancestors?
That's part of what we have to learn to interpret.
Let's keep discovering these mysterious findings together. The three-fingered being from Ambo this time, our search took us west of Ambo. We ventured into the mountains to reach a place impossible to detect at first glance. Semi-hidden. Perhaps a trick of wise nature to keep it protected from looters. We are in search of a unique underground archaeological center in the region. There are no paths, no marks, no signs. Even someone who has explored the area repeatedly with some difficulty could locate the entrance. Observing from the outside, it's as if the earth swallows us. Crossing the narrow access, some small stone stairs allowed us to descend into an underground structure.
Well, Joyce, we are at the archaeological center called Goyar, which means star that fell from the sky. The mystery this holds is incredible, my friend Joyce.
But do you think the scale of the construction belongs to people of our size? Approximately?
I think it belonged to a scale between 1.60 mm, right? Some subterranean constructions. There might still be granites there. Specifically, it has been underground.
Unique.
Or the reason for burials, they don't give it a specific purpose. No one knows. It's unique in the entire region.
Let's continue. So there are two options. Either this elaborate structure made of stone was built for very small beings, or the original floor is far below, covered by layers of earth. In this unique underground archaeological center in the region, these surprising pieces were found. Show us, Javi, please. It was found on the floor, as we are told. It was practically sticking out the first time it was found. And well, here the three-fingered being, the truth is that it is one of the pieces that has caught our attention the most, evidently. And this stone that is like it has inscriptions. Tell us a bit about this, David.
This is in my multiple visits to this sector. Obviously, one day I came and started exploring the floor, especially because the archaeological context is a bit different. Obviously, it caught our attention, we picked it up, and obviously it can, and today it can disappear. Sumerian or Proto-Sumerian writings.
The Sumerians are considered the oldest civilization. It emerged in Mesopotamia 5,000 years ago, and they are the creators of many inventions and concepts that we still use today. Also, of the first vestige of modern writing called cuneiform. The puzzling thing is that thousands of kilometers away, near Lake Titicaca in Bolivia, writing very similar to Sumerian or even older was also found. This is the land of the Tiahuanaco, the alleged builders of the enigmatic archaeological center Pumapunku. The cuneiform writing is engraved on the inner part of a stone vessel. It was found casually by a farmer and is known as the Fuente Magna. That sparked controversy over 60 years ago, because it would imply that in front of Titicaca there was a presence of the Sumerians, or somehow the Fuente Magna was
brought to the highlands before Columbus discovered America. Cultures have already arrived, we have always been exchanging for thousands of years. It's not like Orthodox archaeology says that there is a timeline that must fit, and if it doesn't fit, I grab the artifact and hide it in a warehouse until it relates.
Now, the stone cube found in the Andes of Peru also exhibits a face with carvings very similar to cuneiform writing and the engravings found near Pumapunku. Here you can see these engravings in detail and compare them. This journalistic investigation puts new archaeological evidence on the table. Hopefully they will be valued and studied with an open mind. Hopefully.
They haven't bothered to look beyond their noses at what they found. Mr. Julio Citelo and several others have found it, and that's where what they've said remains. This is law for them, and it's not like that.
In other words, from the Ministry of Culture side, nothing will continue, it's a waste of time. But if I, as a person and my team of professionals present a profile, a supported project, then it will continue.
At the beginning of 2017, while the team of professionals and researchers gathered by Tercer Milenio and Gaia.com were just getting to know and document the discovery of the so-called Nazca mummies, almost in parallel, and without this case being made public, the Peruvian explorer Bobby Trujillo independently found this ceramic sculpture that surprisingly reproduces the physical details of the mummies known as Josefina and Luisa. The shape of the head, the 3 fingers on the hands, a prominent belly. But there's a detail that heightens the enigma. The ceramic sculpture has magnetic properties.
This is the ceramic and this is a neodymium magnet. It has magnetism. You can see the magnet sticks. I mean, this is a spoon. The metal or stone object embedded in the ceramic is not magnetite. It's not something similar to a magnet, because otherwise it would stick.
The discoverer noticed that this sculpture housed inside it some harder material inlays that protrude in the eye sockets and abdomen, right between the fingers. Perhaps it was some mineral added by its ancient artisans that gives it magnetism. Alerted to this curious detail, as soon as we arrived at the Huánuco airport, we headed to a tomography center and managed to convince the radiologist to help us discover the interior of this strange ceramic piece. We had to improvise a way to keep the sculpture fixed on a stretcher, obviously designed for people. The laser guidelines confirmed the correct position and we had to step back for a few seconds. The ceramic piece was about to receive in one go the equivalent radiation of 400 X-ray plates. In the control area, the radiologist was receiving the images from the tomograph and was preparing to make the first cut at chest height. What it revealed to us was impressive.
Is it an axial cut?
Yes, and dense images can be seen.
It has all dense, hyper-dense contents.
It is a unique ceramic piece with dozens of small, weathered, high-density particles with irregular surfaces distributed throughout the structure. Fragments that were integrated into the original raw material at the time of its creation. These particles, seeds, have everything filled with this material. It is not a hollow ceramic piece, but it is compact. Compact. The big surprise came seconds later, when we could verify that right in the belly area, which appears bulging, the structure had some egg-like gestation-type formations. It's simply an image. Does it say circular ovoid, hyperdense ovoid, ovoid, right, with regular edges? Could that simulate an egg, right? Ovoid shape. Wow.
It really is interesting, but yes, it's interesting to see all this.
And well, we had to come to a radiology center to be able to see inside how this strange special piece is. As you have seen, it's not just about ceramics, it's about interior pieces with metallic density. It's something that's not usual. Thousands in gestation, with only 3 fingers, and this tridactyl ceramic piece with ovoid shapes in the belly, 3 fingers on the hand. It can't be a coincidence.
Of course, I felt excited, primarily because it's being investigated in a more scientific, more technical way, the ceramic with technology now. And the results have been surprising. So I am impressed with the very close relationship to the Nazca theme as well, obviously, which is important, obviously.
And that these beings were not only from Nazca, I believe they were national and global. There are trails in engravings, in petroglyphs, in representations.
And it could be that over time it is discovered that we somehow have a relationship with these beings. Thousands of us are very intelligent people, only that we are perhaps not exploiting our intelligence to 100%.
I think it represents life itself, stellar. I mean, the being that brings stellar life to the world, to this world, comes from space, brings life to this world.
That's part of what we have to learn to interpret.
Privately, I showed these images to a prominent Peruvian archaeologist, who assured me he had never seen anything like it in the Andean cultures of ancient Peru. And yet, he demands to know the context of the discovery and that it be a controlled excavation. Despite this, a few decades ago, among the findings made by a Japanese archaeological mission in Kotosh, in the same region, one of the few sculptural pieces they found has quite a similarity from the base to beyond the middle, which could establish a certain cultural closeness. For 12 years, this modest tourism promoter has been touring the most remote places of his province in search of new routes to get to know the archaeological and historical riches of Ambo, his land. What does Avil Trujillo live on?
There's the question, everyone asks that.
The lack of resources since childhood contrasts with his great passion for what he does. Any job, no matter how humble, allowed him to finance his expeditions.
I worked cleaning bathrooms, making bread, earned money with that to support himself. I went on to work at municipal entities in the communications department. I self-financed by recording events, a wedding, a birthday. Initially it was
a waste of time for many.
Before he was Bobby Trujillo, the lonely madman who was looking for stones that no one cared about.
We must recognize Bobby's tenacity.
The permanence, but now we are a team of 10 people. Among professionals, there are architects, engineers.
We must continue supporting Bobby, because thanks to him you are here and both are known, the history is known and there is much more to know.
What is regrettable is the attitude of some officials whose job and obligation would be to do something about the archaeological and cultural heritage. It makes us feel proud because we preserve a historical past, and we feel sorry because the entity that manages that cultural center does not promote.
Look, what happens is that we lack a vision as a national and regional policy.
Well, I have blamed the authorities for the ignorance that exists.
And the Ministry of Culture is unfortunately very bureaucratic. It doesn't let you improve tourist services, and neither.
It gives you the solution. They put many conditions, they put obstacles, they say no, don't touch it. There is no sign of interest in supporting cultural projects. In summary, there is a lack of cultural commitment. Someone said, a people without history, a people without culture is doomed to disappear, disappear, disappear.
Most people, whether in Ambo or anywhere on the planet, need certainties. Certainties of what they know and believe in to live their lives with relative tranquility. However, it is necessary to question what has been learned.
It would break with traditional beliefs and could disrupt the tranquility of the entire world society. So, it seems that there has been more advanced knowledge. We cannot say no, it doesn't exist. That's false. No, it's not like that.
The evidence no longer speaks. The evidence shouts that at least one species different from us existed hundreds of years ago.
Ambo has a lot of history where much is said about extraterrestrials.
We still need to investigate that part of science, but maybe we are not yet taking it professionally, because there are still stereotypes to maintain.
It is also true that more and more people are aware that history is not as it has been told, that this is not all. And if you are watching this part of the report, then you are a person in search of answers. In the information age, and despite attempts to continue controlling it, it flows, runs, and finds its course. A new generation of archaeologists and researchers are taking the reins, and it is expected that they will have science not as a rigid dogma, but as an ally, as a method to find answers and make them public with integrity and courage, even if this challenges convention and the order of things. Exclusive for Tercer Milenio, from Peru, Joyce Mantilla.